Taurus, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Chelsea and I'm here to give you your monthly horoscope for March. Let's jump right into it. First is the retrograde. I'm sure you've heard your planet is appearing to move backward but not actually moving backwards. So what does that mean? So Venus is retrograde in Aries beginning from around the 4th to the, all through the rest of March and into midway through April. And on top of that, as it goes retrograde, it's going to, in April, which I'll talk about next month, when it goes retrograde, it's going to make a square to Saturn, and then when it goes direct, it's going to repeat that square. So what does this mean for you? Well, in general, retrogrades are trying times. No cosmetic procedures for you during this month, or for anyone, especially nothing that has to do with your voice, nothing that has to do with your I don't think there's many cosmetic procedures for the throat, but since it's in Aries, it's going to be in your 12th house. So I wouldn't say don't get pedicures, it's an entire month, like do what you want. But I don't know, maybe don't try a new place for pedicures. Don't do anything grand with your feet during this month. Also be careful about the type of shoes that you buy this month. You might end up buying things a size too small because it's on sale. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap, Taurus. Don't be cheap this month, because Venus also rules wealth and financial assets. So you may be inclined to buy something because it looks nice without taking into account how you really feel about it, because Aries is your identity. But for you, it's in the 12th house. So if you're not really emotionally invested in a relationship, if you're not really emotionally invested in something you want to put your money in, if you're not spiritually invested in these things, it's going to show after a while. You're going to have to take a minute and think, how do these things make me feel? And sometimes with the relationships, we kind of, mistake love for terrible things, like, being out of touch with reality. On the one hand, it does sound nice, like, oh, he makes me feel like I'm in heaven or something. But the flip side of heaven is hell. And not even that, but just you want to stay grounded in reality at all times. Anytime that you're not grounded in reality, you have to remember that it's going to most likely come with some consequences. For example, if you're walking down the street and you just feel like, oh, I'm walking on a cloud, like I'm, like you're not in touch with reality, you might try to cross the street and you're on cloud 9, but a car is coming and they may or may not see you because they may not be in touch with reality. So it's always good to be grounded because you want to see what's coming at you. So things may come from left field during this time, since the retrograde is in your 12th house. You may not feel it as strong as like an Aries person, but Venus is your planet, so you're definitely going to feel it. I would definitely say stay in touch with your assets and investments. If you're like a stocks and bonds type of person, if you have money that you plan to invest anywhere, instead of investing within this month, just take some time to think about where you would like to invest it. Take some time to think about where you would like to invest your money this month. Do some extra research. You might end up finding something. For example, let's say you wanted to, invest in Walmart. I didn't know Walmart had stocks. So let's say you want to invest in Walmart and you're all gung-ho, you're about to invest, and you figure out that the owner of Walmart has some really strong, philosophical and theological values that strongly oppose yours. Maybe you found out that the owner of Walmart is, just plain racist or something, or sexist, or xenophobic or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't really want to invest in this anymore. These are things you want to think about. On the flip side, you may invest in something without really thinking it over, without really understanding if this is where you want to put your money, and then it may fail. And that may not seem connected to emotional values, but if you had take the time to really check in with your emotions to see that if you were invested in this project, in these stocks, in this company, then if it failed, you wouldn't feel as bad. As opposed, you kind of feel like, okay, you win some, you lose some, that's fine. If you took the time to emotionally think about what you're going to do, the universe probably would have guarded your money a little bit better. Like, they probably would not let you invest that much if they knew it was going to fail, as opposed to if you didn't think about it at all, you might have unknowingly invested more than you normally would have. And then it may all go to waste. So this is just not a good time for investments. It's better time to assess your wealth, assess your stocks, and look at your relationships. If you have some friends who seem really out of touch with reality, maybe you don't want to be around them anymore. Maybe that is not true to who you are. Because you're a very grounded person, so maybe you finally realize, like, you know what, I'm really kind of tired of this person who is constantly like in her own world. Maybe you have some friends who feel like it's all about them. Maybe you feel like it's all about you and you're all wrapped up in your own world and you're about to get a wake-up call. That's fine. We all get wake-up calls. I just got a wake-up call and it was very unpleasant, but I was like, you know what, it's better I know now than after the deed is done. Definitely better that I know now. So yeah, just kind of take it all in stride. I don't really believe that retrogrades or even squares have to be painful and, exhausting. I mean, they are, but there's always good to be had from bad things. There's always a silver lining, and you can definitely find the silver lining. It just takes work. So work on it. So that's the Venus retrograde. It's going to be on all month. I definitely encourage everyone to look into what that may mean for them. Read up online what Venus retrograde means in the 12th house, what Venus retrograde means in Aries. Of course, this video is for any planet that you have in Taurus, but primarily ascendant, sun or moon in Aries and Taurus. So definitely do your research. And so now I'll get into the planetary aspects that we'll see. And I'm going to do it in order this time. I completely botched the Aries video, I'm sorry. But Sun conjunct Neptune is first. That is on March 2nd. And so all these conjunctions are happening in your, drumroll please, 11th house in Pisces. So all these conjunctions, there's a series of conjunctions in Pisces that are occurring this month, in March. And they're all happening in your 11th house. So first let's talk about 11th house. 11th house is like the awards that you get. 10th house is like your reputation. So like 10th house is like, you could be known for being like a really great scientist. You could be known for like being so smart. Anybody who has any sort of, like, let's say you're a doctor, anybody who has any ailments, they know to go to you as opposed to anybody else in the city or in the country. But 11th house is you winning the Nobel Prize. It's the awards you get. It's also, it's like your fame. It's like who knows you. It's your friends, it's your social networks, your social groups. And for you, the 12th house is in Pisces. So first you have a Sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces on March 2nd. I'll talk a little bit also about conjunctions. With conjunctions, there's no balancing force. So like with an opposition, the one sign can balance out the other a little bit. With a trine, they balance out each other so well that you only end up feeling the good parts. With a square, they totally want separate things, and it's kind of like they're not really trying to work with each other. With a conjunction, it can sometimes be portrayed as a good thing or a bad thing, because you have two planets in the same sign, and they are so much like one another that the good is magnified, but the bad is also magnified. So you have to be aware of that. So Sun conjunct Neptune is a great day for daydreaming, thinking big, and thinking about the kind of mark you want to make on this world. And just think as big as possible, as expansive as possible. It's a great day to plan like really extravagant adventures with friends, the people who you want to hang out with, the people who make you feel most like yourself. Neptune definitely gives us positive feelings of otherworldliness, of grandeur, and just kind of, like head in the clouds type feeling. So this is definitely a good day for you to think of who you are in a bigger sense, and think of the kind of mark you want to make on this world. And so the Sun conjunction Neptune happens in the 11th degree on the 2nd, and right after that you have Mercury conjunct Neptune in the 11th degree in Pisces on the 4th. So you just came from feeling Neptune's influence with the Sun. Now you feel it with Mercury. So it's a good day for thinking again, contemplating now, daydreaming again. Whereas the Sun and Neptune part is good for action and doing, Mercury is good for talking, thinking, and communicating. So you want to think bigger. Maybe you want to reflect on the things that you did on the Sun and Neptune day. You want to think bigger. You want to think more grandly. You want to think ideally. Try not to get too over optimistic. Try not to get too out of touch with reality. Mercury is critical enough to kind of keep you in touch with reality, but they say this is not a good day for signing contracts. This is not a good day for, like detailed agreements, because you're going to overlook a lot of these things. You're just not going to see it. You're just going to think, oh, all is well, So if something good falls in your lap, hold on to it, maybe sign it at a later date. And so this Mercury conjunction with Neptune in Pisces is followed by a Mercury conjunct Sun in Pisces in the 16th degree on the 7th. So this is conjunction after conjunction after conjunction. So you'll definitely feel a lot of Pisces energy this month, especially during this week. A lot of it is concentrated all on this week. So Mercury conjunct Sun, a good day to hang out with people who make you feel most like yourself, who really speak to your core values and what you really want to do in life, and who speak to your truth. Find those people. Since it's a Mercury, you do want to find it within your friends, but it's not Venus. So you may end up finding these people who make you feel most like yourself amongst your siblings. You may end up wanting to hang out with classmates, people who you don't choose to be around, but fate ends up putting you guys together. Like, you don't choose your siblings, you don't choose your family. So these are the people who you may end up wanting to be around, and you may end up feeling very inspired by these people. These people may end up making you feel very grand, very otherworldly. Since there are so many conjunctions, I definitely feel like you want to hesitate since there's so many conjunctions with Neptune, you want to refrain from like doing drugs. Taurus doesn't really seem like a druggy kind of person, but like overeating, you definitely want to hesitate with that. But it's with Mercury and the Sun, it's not really. Neptune is really what you have to worry about. Neptune's going to make you overeat. The Sun, not so much. Mercury, not so much. But since it is a conjunction and they're all in the sign of Pisces, which is kind of like, getting lost in things and like just kind of venturing into the unknown, you might want to refrain. For people who are involved in research, this is a great day to do some independent research, because Pisces is venturing out into the unknown, and this is a time where you might end up receiving some awards for your research. This is a great day if you have to give a presentation on your research, or just if you want to do independent research about something that's not necessarily like science or like collegiate, academic, whatever. If you just want to do some independent research about something that means a lot to you, and your core values, this is a great day to do so. And hanging out with friends, like I said before, is a great way to get inspired on these days. Okay, so we do have a square this month. We do have a square. Mercury square, Saturn square, the moon on the 12th. This is in the 27th degree of Pisces, Sag, and Virgo. So this day, so squares, everybody thinks squares are terrible, and they are, but at the same time, squares are one of the few aspects in which the masculine and feminine principle meet. So even though it's really hard because these two principles don't necessarily get along, most times when the male and female come together, you get a baby, you get new life, and it's very beautiful. So there's always good to be had from this. So with the Mercury square Saturn, you don't want to be too critical, especially of your friends. You don't want to be too critical of loved ones, because Virgo is your fifth house, yeah. And fifth house is loved ones. If you have kids, try not to be too critical of your kids or your kids' friends. Because Saturn makes you just really cold and harsh, and it usually comes from inner feelings of inadequacy. Saturn comes from being told very young by like a father figure, somebody who you really looked up to, that you just weren't good enough. And it kind of happens to all of us in some way or another, but for some of us it really we really hold on to these things, and because no life is perfect, but when Saturn is triggered either through transits or in the chart, these insecurities can come up, and we only get good at them after 30 years or so. So these things can be triggered, but you don't want to have it spill onto somebody else. You know what I mean? Like contain what you can. You don't have to spill your toxic juices on other people, because we all have our own toxic juices. We don't need to taste yours. But with the Mercury square Saturn, be careful how you communicate with others, especially if you're in a group project with friends. You might be in a project that's not necessarily academic, but is more so dealing with just like a hobby that you have. Let's say you're in a band, or you just decided to create this like art project with some of your friends, or just whatever thing that you do that's not really work related or like science related, higher education, whatever. It's more so things that you do because you just like doing them, and you just like doing it with your friends. Also the awards, you might be critical of somebody else receiving an award that you wanted, or other people might be criticizing you for the awards that you get and the accolades that you get. Try to just tune them out, or try to be aware of what you say. It's definitely communication that you have to watch out for, because Mercury is the sign of communication. It's the sign of media, the intent. Don't tweet crazy, don't tweet anything. Don't start any Twitter battles with your friends. This is not the day. And since the moon is getting in on this square, it's like a T-square. Since the moon is getting in on this, you will actually see some of these things. Like a lot of these aspects, they're with planets that are not necessarily material, so the manifestations of these things may not be right away. But typically with the moon, you see these manifestations. And so you want to be wary. If you see a manifestation of this square, take note of it. And also check in emotionally what that means for you, and why this thing happened, or how you could prevent it from getting worse. The moon is very instinctual, so try to tune into your instincts and be altruistic and try and do what you think would help everyone in the situation. Um, but yeah, so that's on the 12th. Also, I like to highlight moon trines to Jupiter. They're just fleeting, they're just nice little days to watch out for. You might want to, just kind of be aware of certain things on these days because you don't know an opportunity might fall in your lap. So at the end of the day on March 5th, right in the midst of all these conjunctions, on the end of the day of March 5th, you have a moon trine Jupiter. The moon's in Gemini and Jupiter's in Libra for like the entire month. And that's at the end of the day. So a nice day to go party. I don't know if that's, let me see, the 5th is a Sunday. Not the biggest party day, but whatever. Maybe you just want to go out. Maybe you don't have school or work on that next Monday. So yeah, watch out for that. Gemini is in your 2nd house and Libra is in your 6th house. So these are more like work houses for you. Maybe you'll have some time off work. Maybe you will enjoy your work a little bit more. Maybe you'll find an opportunity for a raise. Maybe people will start to see your work ethic more and they'll say, so-and-so deserves a raise or a promotion, or you know what, I know so-and-so has been trying to look for a job, a better job, and I think I have something in mind for this person, so let me tell them about this. So definitely try and be around people who you work, or just focus or be aware of opportunities related to work. The next trine is also in a work house. I think, yeah, Gemini in the 2nd degree is also like wealth and finances. So, and that kind of has to do with work because you work for money most times. But yeah, so think about opportunities with wealth. The next moon trine is in the middle of the day on March 24th. And definitely check with your time zone. I'm working on general mountain time, but I'm not sure how it works with different time zones, so check your time zones. Middle of the day on March 24th. This is the moon is in Aquarius and Jupiter is in Libra. So let's see, what kind of day is that? That's a Friday! Party in the middle of the day. No, you might be working. But Aquarius is in your 10th house. 10th house is your reputation, and it still has to do with work because it's like your status, and most people know others by how you work. When you meet somebody, like, you're most likely to ask, what do you do? So look out for opportunities in those areas. Opportunities may come to you. Maybe you have to go and seek them out. But the moon on those days are most likely to help you. And yeah, so last but not least, you have a Sun conjunct Venus in Aries from 4 to 5 degrees from March 25th to 26th, kind of like a 2-day thing. So Sun conjunct Venus is a great day to be around friends who make you feel most like yourself, and make you feel comfortable, make you feel loving. So yeah, just kind of hang out with those friends. It's a good day for Aries is in your 12th house. And Pisces in your 11th, true. So 12th house is a good day for like relaxing with friends as opposed to like going out and doing excited things. Relaxing with friends, getting more in tune with who you are. Venus is your planet, so you kind of know it well, although it is in retrograde, so who knows how these aspects might feel. But just kind of getting more in tune with yourself, finding out people who do make you feel emotionally grounded, emotionally stable, and emotionally well, and spiritually well. So yeah, that's all I have for you for March. I hope you enjoy this month, and I can't wait to see you next month.